Now, it's time to start grinding, time to start pumping up that item level, and here are some ways to quickly do it. Blizzard halved the grind. 5 War Within updates that you should know about. I need Valorstones. I do, so I need to know how to get some fast. Let's see what Bellular has to say.
Welcome back to the Warcraft News. It's a pretty big week, and if the Timewalking guide that we published isn't enough, like free progress
Patata, thank you for the follow, and welcome to our Scourge.
for you, well, there's another bit of near free heroic gear for you, and an absolutely insane good farm for Valorstones and crests. That's all pretty fun, and it all matters because Season 1 is properly out, Mythic Plus, Mythic Raid, Wing 2 of LFR, and Story Mode and Surrect. So, let's get into everything that's happened. First up, story mode. So V1 of the mode is out, and it's essentially a follower raid, but it's only the last boss, and she's had a bit of a redesign. Essentially, Ansarek is simple enough to be zero stress and likely more friendly for the follower system AI. Now, you can start this in Azj-Kahet, you do a short quest line, it ties up a few loose ends, and after that, you go straight to the Ansarek boss, along with 5 Algari Expedition members as your NPCs. If you're a raider, it's not even a fight.
Wow, so there's not even, it doesn't look like they're going on any platforms or anything. This is interesting. And there's no loot behind this, by the way. Like, you can complete a quest by doing it, but that's about it.
Zero friction, easier than LFR. What it will do, though, is get you a kill for Ansarek, and it will get you the final cutscene. So if you're somebody who doesn't touch raids at all, it basically means you see that content. But also, for your effort, you'll get an enchanted runed Harbinger crest. These, combined, of course, with a spark, let you craft up to high level 619 gear. That's pretty damn big, but it's also great because crafting one of those normally means...
Yeah, but this doesn't drop off of her. What I meant by no loot is she doesn't drop anything. But yes, when you get the kill Queen Ansarek quest completed, yeah, this is nice for a crafting.
Use 45 ruined crests. In this case, you don't have to use those crests, so for the rest of us, we basically get a bit of heroic crafted gear, but we don't need to use the crests, and it saves us some gold. Nice. As for the game feature, I would say it's either a laudable and pragmatic first try of something people have wanted, or it's a paid beta test. Basically, take your pick. I mean, hell, it even causes Blizzard's UI to throw up an error, and the Great Vault counts it as a kill, but the Great Vault has got no idea what story mode difficulty is, so that's a bit awkward.
That's fine.
Now, you unlock this after you finish the max level campaign, and it narratively gives us an answer to a very bizarre question. So, we didn't actually know when the raid takes place. As it turns out now, Ansarek and her simps are all put down well before Xal'atath's raid on Hallowfall. So if you were confused why Xal'atath was screaming in rage in one cinematic, but then next week's cinematic had her just be cool, calm, and collected, well, yeah, that's basically why. Ansarek...
That makes sense, I guess. So the raid technically, normal at least came out before this Hallowfall cinematic does. So yeah, the order of it is we kill Ansarek and then the Hallowfall incident occurs, where we break the Blood Dark Heart. Okay.
Happened before Hallowfall. Now that is straight up extremely sloppy storytelling. I think I know why they did it though. So time getting the main campaign is something that has angered people for a while. I've got a feeling they just didn't want to timegate the campaign, but for other reasons the raid came out when it did, so that's maybe why it happened. Anyway, that's the 11.0 story wrapped, but if you want an idea of what's coming next, we just released an episode of the Lore Walking podcast on exactly that, and you can get it, link below, Valorstone.games. Members, of course, get loads of things over there, and one of them is the Lore Walking podcast. Dozens of episodes, over 40 hours of content, and this time it is all about the Haranir. They played a small role in Azj-Kahet, but they will be playing a far larger role in the future. So
part of the next patch.
Enjoy the pod. You can sign up down below, and let's talk about some numbers. Mythic Plus has been out for a few days, and that means that our pal Nightstalker has put together some data and shared it with us. It's early days yet, of course. I promise a full dive into the stats soon. But for now, he's basically spotted that runs have almost doubled Dragonflight Season 4 within the first 24 hours of Mythic Plus.
Damn.
So, as of Thursday night, EU...
What does that mean for the numbers of WoW right now? Almost doubled? Holy crap. So, yeah, that means people are doing a lot of Mythic Plus, and there's a lot more people playing the game. That's probably what it means. That's really good stuff.
Mythic Plus. So, as of Thursday night EU time, there were about 730,000 runs on the leaderboard, which is pretty damn explosive. There's 1.5 million characters on the leaderboard as well, just for like unique characters. That's just the first 2 days, and it's only people doing Mythic Plus. And I don't know about you, but I feel like I have less reason to do it. As an example, almost nobody in my guild has done Mythic Plus yet. With Delves, with Raid, and the world content stuff, well, we just haven't got round to it.
Well, we just have more options now, right? I mean, that's the thing. I said it this week. I've been busy this week. A lot of things going on, the different issues that we ran into. So I needed to quickly fill up vaults. What did I get online and do? I had a little bit of time. Do some delves. Yeah, do some 2 tier 8 delves real quick to at least fill out that 1 vault slot. We know that we've been raiding in terms of raid progress. We've been pushing that. So yeah, Mythic Plus has taken a bit of a back seat, but in terms of doing Mythic Plus, it's still very much worth it. Still, you get a lot of stones and everything out of it, and it obviously gives you more chances at loot, right? It's always the best to open up as many vault slots as possible to give you the best shot at getting the loot you actually need. So
Loads of us are
it'll
planning
come
the
back
weekend,
into the
so
sun
I
a little
wonder
bit,
if
but
those
we have
numbers will
options
spike
now.
even more. The big question is if War Within will be able to beat the Dragonflight Season 1 record of 36 million runs in 147 days. That'll be interesting to see, but do remember, Mythic Plus is in a way a bit more niche now. Mythic 0, of course, is the old Mythic Plus 10, so quite a lot of dungeon gameplay that would have been counted in Mythic Plus statistics is no longer going to, well, fall in those statistics. And then many people are just doing delves instead because they give you great gear, and to a lot of people, with no timer but still a degree of challenge, they're a lot more fun. Anyway, that means that if Mythic Plus numbers even keep up with Dragonflight, even though Mythic Plus is a relatively smaller slice of the endgame pie, like that would be damn good news for the game. And that's even with it having a new scoring system that's actually less grindy. So
Yeah, and I actually think Mythic Plus, kind of what he's saying here, is in the best spot it's been in a very long time. I think the dungeon rotation is great. I think the affixes are great. I think all in all, I think it's been a really good start to the season for Mythic Plus. So, people doing other things is not a bad thing. It just means Blizzard's done a really good job of giving us options right now on how to gear out, which is what people have been asking for quite a long time.
About that. One thing Blizzard didn't tell us is how Mythic Plus score would change with this expansion. Now, we knew it had to because we don't have the full weekly flip between Tyrannical and Fortified for our dungeons.
You think it's
Thankfully,
horrible?
Though, they've not came up with a new and inventive way to...
I think the dungeon rotation's pretty good. And yes, what he's talking about right now, the Mythic Plus season scoring system change, and now basically you got to do +7s. Do +7s, and now there is no difference between doing Fortified or Tyrannical. They are one. So just do +7s across the board, and you'll get yourself Keystone Master.
Squeeze more gameplay out of us. They've actually done what we've wanted. You've only got to do a key once to get all of the score for a dungeon. So there is no more waiting until next week for the affix to flip just so you can get score. That means you can just go in, start blasting as high as you can, and you can immediately achieve your rewards rather than feeling like, and it's pretty demotivating, that you want to get Keystone Master, you're actually doing a bunch of +10s or whatever, but, well, you gotta wait till next week for the affix to flip. Now, this does seem like a relatively minor change, but what it means is you need to do 8 dungeons instead of 16-ish, right?
Yeah.
Get all 8 dungeons at +7 on average, and you'll get Keystone Master instead of having to do 16 at that level. And if you get KSM, you'll get this lovely Magni-inspired suit, and if you've not already downed Heroic Ansarek or reached 1600 PvP rating, doing that will also get you basically a token that you can turn in for a piece of heroic gear, so it's probably worth doing if you can. Just watch out though, because when you look at the data, some dungeons are giving real headaches. So based on that data, Grimbatol, Stonevault, and Siege of Borealis, one that the Mythic Plus community loves deeply, they are kicking asses right now. But on the other hand,
to destroy.
Hi, Stalker. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to our Scourge. I knew this was coming with Siege of Borealis. I called it from the day they put in the rotation. I'm like, oh, shit, this is going to be a fun one for sure. But I heard Arakara, as we talked about earlier, is one of the easiest ones to do. So go if you. That's the quickie. If you want to get it done, it's kind of like the Ruby life pools of this rotation. So there's always that balance of the little bit tougher ones and the easier ones to do in every single season.
Dawnbreaker is, rather surprisingly to some, pretty much a free win. Next up then, PTR changes. The big cover story today is that the updated Judgement Tier is coming with a new variant that gives you trousers instead of a robe. So pretty good if you're, I don't know, a paladin who just doesn't feel like they can crusade wearing a dress. Then, the classic Timewalking Vendor is in as well, and that means we can see mounts and absolute stacks of pretty damn expensive old-school transmogs that you'll want to be farming badges for. Timewalking, by the way, is currently active. It's an ideal time to get farming, and as compared to the past, you can make literally months of progress in your badges in days. I know that sounds like clickbait. It literally isn't, and you can check out our Timewalking guide next to learn all about that. The PTR itself is now for testing, and the new event for the 20th anniversary is full of detail.
There are talking about the Timewalking badges. Okay, I thought he was talking about Valorstones for a second. I was like, what? What's he talking
characters
about?
that we've basically not seen in years here that are actually giving us updates on what they've been up to. The best one I'd say so far is
Burning, thank you for the
Lore Walker
100
Cho.
bits.
People absolutely love him, but, well, it's been over a...
Isn't there recolors coming too for the tier 2 sets? Yes, yeah. Well, recolors? No, I don't think recolors. They're up-resing them. I don't know. Are there recolors? Has anyone seen actual changes to the original colors of the tier 2 sets? Because all I've seen is up-res versions of them. I haven't seen actual recolors. No recolors? Yeah, recolors? I don't know. So it looks like there's contradictory statements. I don't know. If anyone's seen recolors, let me know. I think I saw recolors for the monk. But are they available? Or were there's just that data mine like people just found those? I don't recall hearing about recolors. I guess we'll have to see. I'm sure people will comment on YouTube too about it. But as of right now, I haven't seen any recolors. I've seen up-res versions of all of them, though. I guess we'll see.
Decade since Pandaria, right? We're treated to excellently narrated reenactments of character stories throughout WoW's history. They got Jim Cummings back to do the voiceover for the character. It's lovely. And the event will also have a 20% XP and reputation buff, just as we expected. But this time it's a bit different because you get a flat 10% buff just for the event being on, but then you've got to refresh the other 10% by doing a daily. Now, all of it just takes like a few minutes of engaging within the event. It's zero effort,
Nice.
but a pretty good opportunity to enjoy
This
the
event's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, it looks like it's going to be great. You know, come to think of it, I do remember seeing a red and a green version of the monk set, actually. So maybe there are different colorways coming. I don't know. Some of them I think I have seen, and then others like the Judgement set. I don't think I've seen recolors of the Judgement set, so yeah, we'll see.
celebrations. Honestly, it's a neat event, full of love, full of flavor, so thumbs up. And let's finish it off with some quick fire tips, some things that you should absolutely be aware of. Number one, if you were wondering why you suddenly stopped finding upgrades for Brand's Curios, there's a line in the hotfixes for you. Here it is. Fix an issue where learning Relic Blood of Zack Fear would prevent other Curios from dropping. So that was bad, and now that those curios are actually dropping with upgrades, your delves should get a bit more manageable. And finally for this week, a fresh way to hurt yourself, but get a lot of Valorstones for doing so. It's not ready for the faint of heart. So, Zack Fear on his 1 question mark difficulty can be a very, very short fight indeed. That's, of course, if you've got the gear, if you're, good at doing DPS and you know the tactics. He can go down in as little as 2 minutes, and for beating him, you get 25 Valorstones. 25 Valorstones for 2 minutes is really fast. Theoretically,
that is pretty
that's
good.
like 500 Valorstones per hour, and the more damage you do, the faster that will be.
So you can just
in our
farm
testing, we've been
Zack Fear?
getting closer to like 100 Valorstones every 15 minutes or so, but that still is with plenty of mistakes being made and not a fully tricked out character. Certainly, if it's just Valorstones you want, that's a hell of a lot faster than spamming Mythic Plus. If you feel up for it, we've got a quick Zack Fear guide in our Delves video from earlier on this week. It's a great way to fill up your vault, and if you want to know why Timewalking is super powerful, check out that video as well.
Yeah, not only that, I mean, time walking right now, you could save up all your badges for the event, right? A lot of the time walking badges are going to be used in the 20th anniversary event to buy things. This is a great way to just pool them and use them.